when people ask me, hey, who's a team that could surprise everybody this year? Falcons are usually on my short list that I, tell Johnny Muscles at the weight room. I go, watch out for the Falcons.
You mean Arthur?
Yeah, right. We're there doing curls together. But yes, for what you said, they've, I think, overperformed for what the talent they've had on their roster the last few years. I'm a big Arthur Smith fan. He's old school. They're into being physical. They're going to do the things the right way. They manage the game a certain way that gives them the best chance. And then I think they were quietly one of the teams that won the offseason. I think that's what I look at, some of the trades, the signing of Jesse Bates, right? Signing a Bud Dupree, who's got a chance to really hit for them. Their offensive line was really good already. They drafted an awesome offensive lineman in the second round. They are a running football team, and they are going to base it around their top 10 pick in Bijan Robinson, who now is going to be the guy there. The big question is just the quarterback, and Desmond Ridder, who I know they believe in, but yeah, can he, be consistent, play at a level that can get them over the top in some of those 50-50 close type football games? But yeah, I see a lot of positives with that Falcons football team.
When you look at the array of weapons they have on offense, adding Bijan Robinson to Kyle Pitts and Tyler Algier and Cordell Patterson and Drake London.
Right.
It's stunning how good they could be, but the straw that's going to stir the drink and distribute the football is Desmond Ridder. Here's Arthur Blank from yesterday talking about his expectation that Desmond Ridder will become the guy that they drafted him to be.
I like a young quarterback, and he people look at just the last 4 games last year and they say, well, based on those 4 games, but he really progressed from the time he came on campus here after he was drafted, and had a good camp, and he's been a strong leader since he's shown up here. Continued to develop. I think he worked well with Mariota last year. Learned a lot from Marcus, and he's a learner. He's got a lot of humility, and as the year progressed, he had an opportunity to play, and I think he played at a very competitive level. The last 4 games, each game seemed to be a little bit better. So, we feel pretty strongly that he's going to be our quarterback of the future, and we got to play games and we got to see, but we feel good about him.
He's also perfected the move where you get the grip on the podium and you show just enough of the bottom of the gun. It's just like showing the holster of the of your pistol just a little bit.
I don't know anything about showing the holster of my pistol, but
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you.
or whatever.
Yeah.
The handle,
shows just enough.
the holster.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
but anyway, Desmond Ridder is a guy that gets a lot of criticism because the tangibles aren't there. They've believed in the intangibles.
Yes,
and they've
that's right.
firmly believed in the intangibles.
Yes, sir.
The leadership qualities. That's why
right.
they were attracted to him.
Right.
And so if they can coach the tangibles into him, then he can be that guy.
Right.
And there's still, look, last year was a weird season with Marcus Mariota, but there's still that lingering Matt Ryan and what he did. So there's a high bar there that's kind of floating. But it's going to be easier for Desmond Ridder. Just go out there and just get the ball into the hands of your playmakers.
Manage the offense. Don't make big mistakes. Right.
You don't have to thread a needle 25 yards down the field on the left sideline.
Right.
There's ways you can get the ball to your playmakers. Be smart about it. Don't complicate it. And maybe, the stats will come from it. Like a little screen pass that the guy takes 40 yards still shows in the stat book is 1 for 1, 40 yards, and a touchdown if he takes it to the end zone. It doesn't matter how far you actually throw it. So if you can do all those things and just be at the center of the storm, I think the challenge they're going to have is keeping all those guys happy.
Yeah, I hear you.
There's too many mouths to feed.
Right.
And Ritter's going to be the one that's got to deal with, the receiver coming back saying, I'm open.
Why am I getting the ball? Yes, they're going to have that. It's a good problem. Desmond Ridder, you said it right. First off, when we met him at the Combine 2 years ago, I think you weren't there that one year. It was the year you stayed home. But he was the guy, and I think people here in NBC could attest that when I got done, I went, he's got, it as far as the personality and just the demeanor and all that. He really jumped out to me that way. He did. And to piggyback off of what you said, I've talked to people down there, and that's exactly what they express, that he's got something, he's made of the right stuff to where they see things to where there's a future. Now, he's not there yet. He made improvements in his throwing motion. There's still some work to do there, certainly. but he's smart. He's a great leader. He's selfless. He knows how to communicate in the locker room. He's a worker. He's a pretty good athlete, so he can run. And now we got read option and stuff like that that's going to become available for that football team. So that's what they believe in. They're taking the approach of the Titans did, right? It's not going to be all about the quarterback. We're going to be a really good team. We just need the quarterback to not make mistakes, and when a guy's open, hit him. Or the early years New England Patriots, or even, let's just say, the Seattle Seahawks and what they did. They drafted Russell Wilson in the 3rd round. They didn't expect him definitely to be a superstar. So they're hoping to kind of hit that jackpot right there. And that's where, it'll be interesting to see what he did. It was better last year, better than I expected at the end of the year. But, yeah, there's some work to be done there. But I'm excited about, what he can do and what this Falcons team might look like.
Pete pointed out to me their schedule, and I hadn't studied it carefully. They play, and this is true of all the teams in the NFC South.
Yeah.
They play all the teams of the AFC South,
right,
which is not
it's
stacked
favorable,
top to bottom.
Right.
They play all the teams of the NFC North, which is wide open and full of question marks.
You could argue those are the 2 worst divisions in football, man.
And even though they were 7-10,
yeah,
they finished in 4th place in their division.
Yeah.
So, because the other teams were 7-10,
right?
The other 2, the Saints and the Panthers and the Bucs, were 8-9, and they won the division by that 1-game margin. So the Falcons get to play the Cardinals,
right?
And the Falcons get to play the Commanders,
yeah,
while the other teams play higher positioning franchises from the NFC West and the NFC East. So, and we see how close it is in the final analysis. If the difference is you got to play the Cardinals and we had to play the Seahawks, which is the difference for the Falcons and the Panthers.
Right.
That's one of the differences.
Yeah.
Schedule's the same,
right,
except you get to check the box with the Cardinals, assuming the Cardinals are what we think they're going to be, and we got to get our butts kicked by the Seahawks. That game right there, may be the whole difference between getting in and not getting in.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely set up for them to make the run and make some waves here this year. And, yeah, them and the Saints are 2 teams that I look at in the NFC to go, yeah, there's some things there. And maybe even more on the Atlanta Falcons, because I feel like there's some really young talent that they can kind of gel here together and have a nucleus here for quite some time. I think that's what excites. You explained it, the stars. You talk about Pitts and Drake London and Bijan Robinson and Desmond Ridder, and they just got Jesse Bates, in the secondary. A.J. Terrell, when healthy, is one of the better corners in football, right? They still got Grady Jackson in the middle of that defense. I mean, they got a good blend of young future and still some guys that have been there and done that and can lead those guys into the future a little too, which I like.
Jeff Okudah, the
exactly.
3rd overall pick from a couple of years ago, who's got something to prove.
Exactly. No doubt about it. And, again, Jeff Okudah's a good player. He didn't live up to 3rd pick of the draft, right? But he's still a good player. And he's one of those guys like we talk about with Evan Ingram and some of them. They just needed a new fresh start. The negativity was just too hard or too much where he got drafted. So we'll see what the Falcons can do. But, yeah, they're a team I got faith in. The coaches on both sides of the ball are some of my favorites.
I know at the end of the day you have a feeling as to who's going to be in position to have their hands on the trophy, and it's going to be hard to pick against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a crazy ride to get there.
Definitely.
So some of these divisions are like this one. The NFC South is the most wide open. I don't know who I ultimately am going to pick to win. And maybe something stupid like this scheduling factor makes the difference.
Yeah.
The scheduling quirk that benefits the Falcons to the detriment of the other 3. Maybe that makes the final. They're the ones who are going to rise up.
It could be.
All right, let's take a break. With Nathaniel Hackett in the news so much recently, we're going to have a draft of the most important coordinators, or more accurately, the coordinators under the most pressure as 2023 approaches. PFT Live from the Hall of Fame, sort of. Returns right after this. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.